I'm going to show you how to make these little Christmas tree things that everybody has everywhere. So first, the best thing to do is to go to Dollar Tree and get them because that's where they're the cheapest. And then you can paint them. You can paint the green ones too. So what you'll need is a cone, some craft paint, which I don't have that in here, and some garland or something to cover it in. So first you'll paint the cone and let it dry. Do at least like 3 layers, and I leave the bottom so that if it gets like wet or whatever, the paint. Oh, here's my craft paint. It's got some apple barrel paint. This is like 50 cents. You can get this from Dollar Tree for $1, and then garland, and then something to put on the top of it. I have these little pretty gold flowers. So you need your flowers, your paint, your cone, and something to wrap it in, and a hot glue gun. So what you're going to do is you're going to start, I like to start at the top of the cone to make sure it's got enough thickness. Oops. My hot glue gun is not on an extension cord, so let me move you guys in a little bit closer. If it's fuzzy, it's because it's really bright in here. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I've got the stick. This is like a fresh stick with another stick in there, so that's why it's being a butt. Okay, so I start at the top of the cone, and I'd leave a space so that you can stick whatever it is at the top. And if you press on top of the garland, it won't, and it will stick, especially like it won't melt as easily because it's got the paint on it. So, and you want to make sure that's where you want it. Now, for doing this, I would do little bits, little strokes, not huge strokes, because you want to make the garland nice and tight so it looks like it's actually a part of the cone. Because they have like the little plastic wiring things that you can put on, like wrap these things around, but those cost more money and they're really hard to find. So just do little, and my hot glue gun, it's always good to have an extension cord for your hot glue gun. So that's like how you would start the top. And then for this, since these have the little stem thing on the bottom, you can go ahead and put that on the top, push that into the top, or you can hot glue it. You can make it interchangeable, but it'll stay in the foam. Why it's nice to paint the foam first is because you can still stick stuff into it, but it allows it to be more durable. Hi, Luna. She's over there hiding. And I would push up the little frills too. These ones I got, I'd make sure that you have a good amount extra, because then you can always fill in the gaps. These are like really popular, and I know people pay like a lot of money at places to get them. Now, as long as you wrap it pretty tight, this texture will help this garland stuff stick to it. And you don't have to do it completely all the way around, because like the glue, because it will wrap because it's sticking. And you don't want it too immensely tight. So another reason why, if you paint it, the little gaps will be filled in. Okay, I'm going to have to glue him up there. And this is a cheap, like, $3 craft. And when you go to buy these from, like, the craft store or Joann's, they're always, like, $20. Everyone's like, oh, those tree things. And you can do it with, like, the regular sparklies. You can do it with the really pretty gold and silver ones. You can do them with any of the colors. And if you lay it over some of the little frills, they'll also trap some of the frills in there. I wanted to get the one with the snowflakes because I thought this was a pretty pattern, and this is I've seen these. And you can also do these with things like pine cones. Usually people heat them up a little bit in the oven, and then the sap will come out of them. They'll do it on a cookie tray with some parchment paper, and which you can get parchment paper at Dollar Tree, and they'll stick them to it. Sorry, this is going to take a minute. I'm just wanting to make sure, like, because hot glue sticks, but sometimes with my intense knowledge of hot glue, you want to hold it a minute just to make sure that it fully sticks. You could also stick anything really on top of these too. And some places like craft stores, where if you want a really big one, you're going to pay more for them. You can even make things out of foam and do this something similar, and shape the foam. But if you paint, I always suggest painting the foam, because then it looks, then if you see, because that's the thing, like if you painted it something, I don't want to paint it something too similar, so that if you did see bits of the blue, it'd look kind of like purposeful, or give it a little hint of pizzazz. But if you paint it the same color, then there'll be no gaps. Or if you wanted to make this part down here, you can leave this part down here exposed if you want it to look like, you could paint it brown, or you could, if you're doing a green one, or you could, to make it look like it's the trunk. But I want to cover mine up, because I like the kind of low sitting, like kind of like blue spruces kind of. And just with this, because you can't really see the hot glue as easy, just make sure and be careful, because sometimes the little garland stuff is hot when you add glue to it. Almost done. I wouldn't secure it underneath, because then it'll be uneven. You could even glue a piece of, cut out a piece of round felt if you're worried about this bottom part sitting there, but I think it'll be fine. Some people don't want you to know it's foam. Then you could put a piece of felt if you wanted them to think it's one of the fancy store ones. And then I would do just at the bottom, this bottom part, do a longer piece of glue to help secure it around here, because if it's moved or sour in the box, it might come loose a little bit. Okay, so once you get to the end, as long as you see that everything is all cone wrapped, we got a little spot right here where we want to cover that up. You want to make sure and check for gaps before you cut it, to make sure that there's no little places like right here where there's any glue. And with this, like if you did mess up, you could probably cut a little piece off the end and stick it in. And it covers really well. Okay, so then for when you get to the end part, hold on. You want to take your scissors. So most likely you have some scissors. Sorry to forget to mention that. And you want to glue this off. You want to make sure and glue off the whole part so that it doesn't come off. And you can actually stick it right on the garland. So here's our little tree. And then they always put something on the top, so we're going to glue one of these little poinsettia, golden poinsettias. I just put it right on there. And people pay like good money for these fancy little things, and you just shove it right in. But also, and there we go. And you can do it with whatever material you like. You can add like little, can clip on like little birds if you want them to be sitting in the tree. And they have longer, like real tall ones, real skinny ones. They're mostly used for making little trees. But see, this is my little Christmas tree or winter tree or whatever you want to call it. And you can just set it on your table with your little decorations. So thank you for watching, and I hope this helps you out. Hope it's not too immensely long. And thank you for watching.